going to show you how I make my slides for my Lightbox. So the first thing you need to do, now I'm using PowerPoint because it's the easiest for me to use. And what I started with was I started by opening up a blank slide, and then I changed my slide size to 11 inches by 9 inches. Now, of course, you'll get a warning that it exceeds the printable area, and that's totally okay. So I just click OK, and that's fine with me. And so then what I did, you'll notice I have these lines right here. And what that actually is, it's a box. I inserted a shape, and I inserted a rectangle. And you'll notice right here what the size is of that rectangle. It's 2.87 inches by 11 inches long. And I inserted 3 of those. So there's one, there's the second one right there, and then there's the third one right there. And what that represents are the 3 slides in your Lightbox. And so that's how I started. And so then what I did was I just decided what I wanted to put on my slides. So I'm using some holiday ideas right now. And so just the same thing you would do to create anything in PowerPoint. I just inserted some text, inserted some cute clip art, until I had what I liked. And so then what I did was I just file, and then I saved as, and I saved mine as my Lightbox pictures right here. So I'm not going to go ahead and save it again. But then what you need to make sure and do is also save as pictures, because we're actually going to be inserting pictures into our next PowerPoint. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me get out of here. Okay. So then what happens, and I want to get down to a blank one right here, okay. So obviously that slide size we had, the 9 by 11, is going to be way too big to print on. So what I had to do is I had to divide my paper into the 3 different pieces. So I have 2 slides right here and then 1 slide right here, and that's how I'll actually print them. So then what I want to do, and I'll come back up here to my George Washington so I can show you. This is what it's going to look like. And if you look right here, you can see if this George Washington was up here, it'd make a perfect picture. But obviously, like I said, I don't have room to do that. So the same thing as before, I've got my boxes measured out. And just really quick, let me show you. On my page setup, it's 11 by 8.5 inches right there. So just so you have that. And then I'm going to, I'll delete this one so I can show you exactly how I do it. Okay, so I'm going to find my George Washington picture over here. Let's see. Sorry, I just had it open and now I've got to find it. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to find my George Washington over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it over and insert it, okay? Now you'll notice it looks a little bit different than the first time. It looks a little bit smaller. Well, it did. It adjusted size over here. So I want to change this back to 9 inches so I can get as close to my original as possible. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to slide it over because I can see where my slides are right here. And I want to line them up just perfect like that, okay? And then I'm going to copy it and I want to paste it onto my next slide because I want to make sure I have the measurements the same on both of them. So then I'm just going to crop my image into those 2 slide boxes. So let me go down just a little bit. And this is pretty easy to do. It's going to slide it up just like that. Okay? And you'll notice right there it says my height is 5.74 inches, and that's really important because when I go to crop my next image right here, I want to make sure that I'm only cropping the difference left over from the original 9 inches, okay? So I'm going to crop it, and if I get right down to this line, it should be just right at 3.26 inches, which would add up perfect to 9 inches. So I'm going to crop it right there, and then I'm just going to drag it up into that slide, and it just, oops, it just fits perfect right there. Now, one more thing I always like to do is I want to make sure that this slide right here is on top, that my box slide is on top, if you saw that. So my cut lines are always there. So let me change this one around to reorder. I'm just going to get my box lines on top. My box lines on top right there. And then my slide is ready to go. So all I have to do now is, you can see where I've done several more right here. You can see how they're perfectly split. And so then I'm just going to save it as a PDF. And the main thing to remember is that when you go to print these in a PDF form, is that you always want to click actual size, because if you click fit to page, it's going to be too small for your Lightbox. So I hope that answers some of your questions on how to make your own slides. If you have any more, you can email me at livelaughlovesecond@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Live Laugh Love Second, and Instagram, Live Laugh Love Second. Thanks.